Hello, hello. If you are watching live, then hello. I'm just waiting for Zoom to come up and tell me that I am live. Sorry if I'm starting halfway through a sentence. As ever, I have no idea whether Zoom lets me live the moment it says it's connecting or whether it's live when it tells me it's live. So hello. And if you're watching the replay, then let me know in the comments that you're watching the replay so that I can come back in, check your questions and answer them for you. So let's have a quick peek to see if I can bring this up. Yes, I can on my phone. So hello. If you're watching with me, then say hello so I know who is here. I think we've got Craig. I can see. Who else can I see? Let's just give a quick check. Craig's the only person that's coming up as commenting so far. So if you're watching live with me, then make sure you let me know in the comments so that I can try and tailor the actual training to you, your niche, your questions as much as possible. But I need your help. I need you to actually tell me you're here so that I can tailor the content for you. Otherwise, it's just going to be generic content that is for everybody. And that's why you need to be here live. So hello, Craig. So today I want to talk to you about infiltration, and I will be talking about what infiltration means and how you can do it and how you can apply it. So let me know in the comments what your niche is. Craig, I know you're still figuring yours out, but what I'm going to do is show you some ways that you can actually use the infiltration tactics to figure out what your ideal client avatar is, to figure out what your niche is, to figure out who it is that you want to be connecting with. You don't have to have all this stuff figured out before you start trying to build your audience on social media. You can absolutely figure out your who and your what from who is naturally attracted to you on social media. And I'll give you a little bit of backstory because that's actually what I did. It's exactly what I did. I started off in the property or real estate niche because that's what my family business is. We manage over 700 properties. Like, that's a lot of properties. So I started off using social media to find new landlords, find investors, find property deals, and then started just sharing my journey, kind of a bit like being a reporter, just letting people know what I was doing, what I'd learned, how it could help them, where I was going, all that kind of stuff. And then from doing that, I got the absolute bug for sharing about social media because I saw the potential for it for every single person, every single niche. That's why you guys are now here. And I naturally attracted people into my audience that weren't necessarily in property or in real estate. They were from different loads of different niches, but they all had something in common. They were all entrepreneurs. They all had businesses and they all wanted to grow their business. And they were positive action taking people rather than the people who sit behind and just moan and complain about their circumstances. The people that I attracted into my world were all the people that actually wanted to do something different, to be more, to give more, to impact more. So you can absolutely use social media and just start talking, and your voice will attract a certain, and when I say your voice, I mean everything about you. You're like your branding, whether you've got branding or not, the way you know, the things that you do, it all contributes to your voice, and then your voice will attract a certain kind of person into your world, and then you can then start to tailor your content even more, even better for them. So you don't need to have it all figured out. And so Craig tells me that's what he's keen to do, to discover who is attracted to your story and your communication style. And absolutely do that, because it actually then makes the whole of social media so much easier, because you're just being you. You're not having to put on a front. You're not having to say things the right way for a certain kind of person. You're just saying them how you would say them, and it's attracting the right kind of person. So yes, just do that. Just kind of start sharing your journey and you'll attract in the right person for you. And so the next thing that happens, so we've talked about perfecting your Facebook profile funnel so that when people come across you, they come through your funnel. We talked about having the right kind of lead magnet that people will then desperately want to have once they've come through your Facebook profile funnel. And so you're getting them onto your email list, because if the worst should ever happen and Facebook die, then you've still got your email list and you can be contacting people through that. So we've talked about those things. We've talked about how social media is governed with sharing, with stalking, and with how to stop the scroll, because scrolling is the thing that everybody does on social media. Then we talked about groups, so where people are already hanging out on Facebook. Because let's face it, if you've got a small friend list at the moment, and if you've only just started your page, or your page is pretty small, then your pool of people that you can get to is pretty small. So you need the groups to grow your audience and to go and tap into the audiences that are already there, which leads me on to nicely into infiltration, which is my way of talking about what Russell Brunson calls the Dream 100 strategy. Lots of people have got different names for it. And you might have noticed from the topic of this live video, I said it's Rachel Hollis's way of how she became the second best selling author in the US in 2018 was what she called infiltration. Now I came up with infiltration last year. And I don't mean I came up with the whole concept, because of course there are really no new concepts. There are just new ways of talking about them and sharing them. But I actually created a mini course last year called FB Infiltration Secrets, which is just about going out and attracting your Dream 100 and how to infiltrate into their audience and have them love you for it. So what do I mean by that? So Dream 100, first of all, let's give some definitions. Your Dream 100 people are the people who already have your ideal client avatar in their audience. So who are the people that have podcasts, that have blogs, that have YouTube channels, that have Facebook pages, Facebook followings, Facebook groups? There's loads of different ways of doing this, that have big email lists. You know, who are the people that have already built a list, built a following that's full of your ideal client avatar? And this is why it's so important to know what your ideal client avatar is, because if you don't know that, then it's really hard to do the rest of it. Okay, it's really hard to figure out who's the person that's already got them in your audience. Now, if you don't really have a clue who your ideal client avatar is, then go out there and see what are the groups, who are the people that you're attracted to. So maybe that's a starting point. And then what you need to do is list out all of those people, because they are going to become the focus of you building your audience over the next few weeks. So you figured out who your Dream 100 are. Who are those people whose audiences you want to infiltrate? Then what you need to do is go and find where their audiences are. So are they podcast followings? Are they YouTube followings? Are they Facebook groups? Are they on their Facebook page? Are they just in their email list? Not every single big influencer has figured out all of those different channels and those different mediums. So what you might find is people who've got really big podcasts, they might have a really disengaged Facebook page. They might have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of followers, but those people might not actually be paying attention. Or people might have massive Facebook pages, but they don't have a group. There are lots of people that don't have groups, but then there are lots of people who do have groups. So go and first of all, write out your Dream 100 list. And then once you've written out your list, then what I want you to do is to go and list out where those people have got their audiences. Now, I have created I would say like an easy cheat sheet for you to be able to keep track of all this. Because once you've figured out what the I would say kind of like the containers are for their audience, then what you need to do is go and start infiltrating into, sorry, hit my microphone then, infiltrating into those containers. So whether it is going into groups and giving value, whether it is listening to their podcast and sharing their podcast, commenting, reviewing their podcast, all of those things get noticed. I've used this strategy without even really realizing it at the beginning to get the attention of multi-millionaire course creators. And I am talking like the big ones in the UK, over in America as well. It's enabled me to do collaborations with people, do Facebook interviews with people, and it's all come from just literally consuming their content, so the Dream 100 content on social media, on podcasts, whatever, and then sharing that, because I find so much value in it. I knew other people would too, so I just was sharing it. I was commenting, I was giving my opinion. I was very much looking at how can I complement what those people were putting out there. And just bear in mind that you don't want to be trying to directly compete with them. You don't want to be trying to say, hey, you guys, you've built up this big audience, let me steal your people. That's not what you want to do. What you want to do is, hey, you guys have built up this big audience in this arena about this specific topic. But what you'll notice, especially in groups, is people will ask questions that aren't the specific niche that that person can answer, that that influencer can answer. And so by helping out, by saying, actually, you know, this is the experience I've had with XYZ, then you can help out that big influencer by giving even greater value in that group. Because when you help all of the people in that group, and this is why groups are so amazing on Facebook. So when you start helping out and helping out the big influencer whose group it is, they will notice you and they will know that you are adding value, which is keeping people in the group, which is meaning the group is growing and the group is even more engaged. Whereas if groups tend to just be about one specific thing and people can't get their answers in that group, sometimes they'll go to other groups. So if you can help people in the group, you are doing a massive favor to the influencers and they will notice you for it. So my suggestion is to start putting up posts. If you see questions from people, put up posts that answer if it's your area of expertise. If you see, especially in the comments, people ask questions. When the influencers do live Q&As, I found this a lot in Amy Porterfield's group. There were, you know, she's great at building courses and helping people build courses, but there are things she does not know about. She knows nothing about LinkedIn. She knows nothing really about Facebook ads. She gets in other experts to help with Facebook ads. So she doesn't know about that stuff, but people are still asking questions because they're related to what she's talking about, which is creating courses. And so people that had knowledge about Facebook ads, that for me, I had incredible knowledge about live video. Amy Porterfield is telling people to go and do live video, but she is not a live video expert, and therefore she can't help people with how to go live, because her only experience of doing live video is sitting behind a desk and being very, I would say, like news reporter-esque, whereas my experience of live video is literally going live, being a bit more excitable, being a bit more animated, and being a bit more raw and real. And so that is how people respond best to live video, is from the actual real, raw kind of feeling videos. And so by helping give people guidance on that, it actually helped the group as a whole, which helped Amy out, and therefore, you know, her team noticed me being in there and helping, and in a way that wasn't trying to poach people, wasn't like putting up my affiliate links to things or my, you know, go buy my course. It was very much, here are some ideas, here are some tips, and people will then start to stalk you. They'll then click on your face, tap on you, and then go through your Facebook profile funnel. So that's why it's really important to be giving value in groups in a complementary way, as opposed to a competitive way. And you just kind of have to figure out who are those people that have got the groups, and you're going to have to join some, and some are going to be really engaged and some are not. There are lots and lots of groups out there run by people who are very good at marketing and yet still haven't quite cracked the Facebook group code. And I will put my hands up and say that if I'm not active in my group all of the time, then my own group, my free group, tends to take a nosedive in terms of engagement. So you have to, if you go in there and you start adding value, people will recognize you, because there aren't that many people that do that. There might be people who comment on posts, but there aren't that many people who will actually put up posts that are mega value. So if you start becoming that person, then you will have success and you will get noticed. And one of Susanna, who is on our live at the moment, she has started doing this off the back of some training that we've done in the past. And Susanna is now amazing at posting in groups, because we have some groups in common. She posts in the group. She does what I say, which is put up images of her face, and then people get to know her, and she's very incredibly authentic, and so people now know her, and she is recognized in groups. So you can do that too. You just have to start sharing your knowledge. Be very free with your knowledge. Teach people the how. Tell them what they need to do. You know, go and let them know this is what you need to do. Enough people will find that and say, either I don't want to actually do it myself, can you do it for me? Or they'll say, I need some more hand holding, can you help me? And that's when you can then build a relationship and sell people. But if you give this is what you need to go and do to start off with, you will start to get people to come through your Facebook profile funnel just from joining groups. Groups is the easiest way to do it. But also listening to podcasts and sharing those is incredibly useful. Writing reviews. So what I've done with my my spreadsheet that I've created for you that I forgot to share, sorry. What I've done is I have created, and I'm going to walk you through it because I know that sometimes when you look at a spreadsheet for the first time, you go, what am I doing here? So I'm just going to walk you through it. So bear with me a moment while I just get it up. Ask some questions, say hello. Hi guys, thank you for joining. Let's see, where is it? I should have had this open already. Instead, I've been doing a mini hackathon with my 2 Comma Club ex-coaching people, and we were doing a live webinar funnel build. So expect to see a webinar from me in the coming couple of months. I'm not going to say it's going to be immediate, but in the next couple of months, I will absolutely do my first ever webinar. But let's see. Okay, so let's bring these 2 up. No, it still hasn't come up. I'm now becoming one of those people who just hangs around while I'm waiting for things to load and not saying anything. I'm so sorry. So guys, let me know in the questions, the comments, how you are getting on so far. If there's anything that you're stuck with so far. Have you done your Facebook profile funnel? Have you worked out who your ICA is? Have you got amazingly well-performing lead magnets up and running? Have you been testing different lead magnets and different hooks? Let me know how you are getting on while I wait for the world's slowest loading. Oh, this is just painful. Let's see if I can bring it up another way. I might be able to. Hold on. Let's go into Google Docs and see if this is faster. Right, it is. So let's do another one. Right, I'm going to share my screen with you. Here we go. So let me know in the comments if you can see my screen. I've shared it, so hopefully you now can. Susanna says our summit opt-ins are really good. That is awesome. You have some amazing speakers on your summit, so that is a good factor too. It helps, and also just putting it out there and letting people know that it's going on. Okay, so first of all, this is the Dream 100 list. So you're going to write down every person you can possibly think of, no matter how big or small, because it doesn't have to be someone massive. People with smaller lists tend to have better engaged lists. Same with, the smaller your Facebook group is, actually, the deeper relationships you have with each person in there. I know people who are in Julie Stoyan, who is now VP of Marketing at ClickFunnels, but she did have her own business called Create Your Laptop Life or Living the Laptop Life, something like that. And she designed funnels. She's designed lots of $1 million funnels, but also she helped freelancers build their businesses up. And I know people who were in Julie's original group when she first started, and they are still her most loyal and dedicated kind of followers and buyers. So sometimes people with smaller audiences are as valuable as, if not more so in some ways, than people with bigger audiences, and they're actually easier to get into. So let's go through the columns here. It should make sense, but just in case, I'm going to go through this with you. So here it goes. Who already has your ideal customer, who needs the result that you offer, the one that you love to work with and loves you and wants to pay you, in their audience. So you need to start thinking about people that might own lists, people who have email lists, people who are bloggers. You can get a list of blogs and things. If you go and look at BuzzSumo, that actually gives you some ideas for blogs on particular topics, but you can also do searches on Google and just type the niche keyword and then blog. And it will come up with things for you, who have podcasts, Facebook pages, Facebook groups, Instagram. Not all of these things are always necessarily the same. Some people have got Facebook pages and not Instagram, or vice versa. There's a lady called Brooke Castillo, who is a like an 8-figure life coach. Nuts life coaching. She's got an 8-figure business. And she is not on Facebook. But she does have a really, really, really good podcast, and obviously makes lots of money. So she's got lots of people following her, but she doesn't really engage on Facebook at all. So, just don't think that just because somebody's on one list that they wouldn't necessarily be on another list, and vice versa, or that you can't find them on Facebook, then maybe they're not big. They might still be big on another platform. YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter. Twitter's still good for finding some people. Better for some niches than others. Authors, look at your Amazon bestsellers. Who are the people that are on those lists? People love to talk about their books. There are lots of people that write books that don't actually make that much money, and they would love to be promoted more by you. The people that make money from books tend to be the people with Russell Brunson's book funnels. The rest of them don't really make that much money on the whole for non-fiction books. And then event organizers, are there any people that organize events that you know of in your niche who might be a good person? Now, you don't have to think, am I trying to become best friends with them? That's not what this is about. It's trying to find people who've got the right person in their audience, and you can get noticed by their audience and eventually by them too. But it's not about necessarily just trying to become friends with the person who is the list holder. It's about getting into their audience's mind. And if you're in there helping, their audience will notice you. Their audience are looking for more information on that niche topic. And so they will start to go through your Facebook profile funnel. So this is the Dream 100 list. So you're going to list out as many people as you can possibly think. My suggestion is you set a timer. I say that I'm pointing here because I've got a watch and I time everything on my watch. You set a timer for 25 minutes, the Pomodoro time. Set a timer for 25 minutes and literally write down as many people as you can possibly think of in that time. And I would personally try and just like free write them down, type them out. And then if you exhaust yourself by the 25 minutes and you can't think of anyone else in that time, then start to do Google searching. But try and think of anyone that can come off the top of your head for as long as possible, and then start your Google searching. Don't go down Google first of all, because you will go down a rabbit hole. So that is the Dream 100 list. And then what you're going to do is you're going to make this more manageable. So you are then going to take each person, okay, and this is over a longer period. You're not going to try and hit everybody at once, but you need to pop in who your person is. If they've got a Facebook profile, pop the links in there, put your page links in there, put the group link in here for each person. If you look at the top here, it says month 1, month 2. So I'm talking about hitting up 5 people a month. Okay, that's a manageable amount every single day. And this is why I'm saying put the links in here. Every single day, you can pop into your Dream 100 engagement tracker. You can click the link. You can then go to their page. You can comment on something they've posted. You can share a post of theirs. You can share their podcast. You can go into their group. You can give some value, and you can then tick the box. Literally, it ticks. I made it as easy as possible for you. And then every single day, just go back in and do this. And this should not take you long. You shouldn't be spending more than like 10 minutes on this each morning. You can do it in the morning and the evening if you want to have maximum effect and get the fastest results. But literally, you can do this really, really quickly. But by putting all of the shortcuts in this spreadsheet, you can then pop in here, do your thing, pop out and go on with the rest of your day. It doesn't have to take long. But this is why you need to do the work up front. This is why you had to do your ICO. This is why you have to have your profile funnel set up in the first place. Then you have to figure out your Dream 100. And now you need to go in and actually start actively engaging in communities, which will then in turn grow your own community. So hopefully that helps. Does that make sense, guys? For the spreadsheet there. So let me know in the comments. So Craig says he really likes the tick box format. So do I. The whole our brains work by checking things off. It works really well. And you can see what you've done, who you've interacted with on that specific day. So you don't need to try and keep track of it in your head. It's just there already for you. Craig says, yes, makes sense. Love that. Awesome. Susanna, can you give examples of some people? Do we mean Dream 100 type people? So in my Dream 100 list, there are people like Jim Edwards. Okay. I've done loads of work with him now. I got him because I started sharing his posts. I started commenting on his posts and then in his group and giving value. And then that got his attention. Same with Alex Sharfan. I literally I share probably his podcast once a week because I'll listen to a podcast, find it really valuable, and then give my take on the podcast in a post. And I'm just talking like a sentence or two, not some really massive long debrief on the podcast. Just, this is really interesting because this sparked this thought in my head. This gave me this idea. That works really, really well. Writing on videos works really well as well. I remember Russell Brunson saying that when he met with the guy that owns Quest Nutrition, the Quest bars, he knows the guy that owns that, or I don't know if they still own it or if they sold it. And they did a live video together, and I believe it was Jamie Cross came on, who is in Russell's inner circle. And then Russell said Jamie commented on all of his videos, so he knew Jamie. And Jamie was also commenting on all of this other guy's videos. So the other guy was like, oh, you know Jamie? Oh yeah, I know Jamie, because she was commenting so much. So in terms of like the Dream 100 people, for me, because I'm going after entrepreneurs, it tends to be anyone who is big in the ClickFunnels world. So obviously Russell Brunson himself, but then all of the like micro influencers within the ClickFunnels world. So a bit of Stephen Larson, Julie Stoyan, Alex Sharfen, maybe, you know, I probably wouldn't put the lady boss Kaylin Poulin in there, because her audience are people looking to lose weight. They are not looking to grow businesses. So she wouldn't be in my audience. Trey Llewellyn probably wouldn't be in my audience, because he's very much econ focused, and my audience tend to be more course creators, coaches, and service providers. So yeah, so that's some examples of my people. What you could also do is use the Facebook Insights tool and go into that. Let's see if I can bring that up right now. And you can go into Facebook, so the Insights tool, and Audience Insights will, if you type in the names of people, it will give you some other people that are similar. I'm trying to bring it up now while I'm talking to you, but I'm not sure if I can. Let's have a look. Here we go, Audience Insights. So you could type in a person. Right, let's screen share again. You will notice I have a million tabs open at the moment. So, okay. So when you first go in, let's see if it does it again. No, it asks you if you want to choose everybody connected to your page or everybody on Facebook. So I would choose everybody on Facebook. I will get rid of the United States, because I am UK versus United States. And you can choose people by country region, but also you can have a look at interests. And in here, you can type an interest. So you could just go into the different niches that are in here, but also you could type in people. So if I type in Russell Brunson's so huge that he has an audience that Facebook determines to be an interest-based audience. So this is an overview of Russell Brunson's audience, which is interesting, you know, having a look at these different things, you know, whether people went to college, university, whether they're single or married, what kind of job titles that they're in. But bear in mind, of course, that a lot of entrepreneurs have different job titles. So this isn't for entrepreneur, if you're targeting entrepreneurs, isn't quite so useful, because we all call ourselves founders or CEO or self-employed or entrepreneur or small business owner or whatever. So yeah, and then you can have a look at like the locations around the world where their audience is. That's quite interesting. I don't know. Oh, because it's going by, I see, it goes by city in America. Okay, that makes sense. So you can also see what other pages your people that you're looking at might like, based on the fact that they like Russell Brunson. So if people like Russell Brunson, they also like ClickFunnels, Shopify, digital marketer. So that would then make me think, okay, Ryan Dice, he is involved in digital marketer, so he might be another influencer that I'm going after if I'm going after Russell Brunson. Dan Locke, Sam Ovens. So this is a really great way. Tim Ferriss, Jim Rohn. I tend to also look at Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and all that kind of thing. Frank Kern, Dean Graziosi, Tony Robbins maybe. But bear in mind, Tony Robbins has got such a phenomenally huge audience on Facebook, but also might have people that aren't necessarily just interested in business. For me, in my head, I'm thinking, well, they're also just, you know, they might only be interested in personal development and self-development and not necessarily entrepreneurs and business owners. So if I was targeting those kinds of people, I'd just be aware of that and know that I might not get the same kind of like hit rate on me personally coming through my Facebook profile funnel as if I was going after somebody who was a business owner. So Susanna says, cool, this is smart. So yeah, go and pop things into here. So I went to business.facebook.com and then you click on the hamburger, and then Audience Insights is your, this thing's amazing. Now you have to take everything with a pinch of salt, but let me show you something. So you might think, well, Russell Brunson, amazing. Stephen Larson, he's pretty big in the ClickFunnels world, but I do not believe Stephen Larson has an interest. No, he's not big enough to have his own interest on Facebook. There are lots of people that aren't. Okay, so in the UK, a good friend of mine who is a multi-millionaire property owner and course creator is called Rob Moore. He does not have his own interests, but his company, Progressive Property, do. So she says, here we go. So Progressive Property comes up, and then there are other companies or interests that come up that are similar. So this is, if you were going after property or real estate, this might help some other people that are in the group at the moment who are in property in the UK. If you were targeting Rob Moore, Mark Homer, then you also might be targeting Liam Ryan, who owns Asset for Life, who is a client, or was a client of mine, a private client for a while, and all these different things as well. So, funding circle. So think, okay, well, if I'm going after people who are in property or real estate, then I might also want to go after people who are involved in the world of raising funds and raising investment. So there are peer-to-peer lending platforms in the UK. I'm not sure if you've got them in America. Who owns those? Okay, well, can I go and target those people? So, and also sometimes you might not have an individual that owns a group, but it might be like a company group or something like that. So you just kind of need to think a little bit outside the box. There's a lady who did one of my last challenges who is an incredibly amazing belly dancer in the UK. She's kind of top of her game. And she said to me, she said, I haven't got anyone, there is nobody above me that I can go to. And I was like, well, people who go belly dancing, do they do any other kind of dancing? Are there other things that people who like belly dancing or might want to get into belly dancing that they might be interested in? Do they go to the theatre? Would they be interested in Cirque du Soleil? All of that kind of thing. So you have to not just think of your competitors, but also think outside of the box of, okay, well, if somebody is interested in this section, so say you're a funnel builder, say you're a web designer, or you are into branding, then what are some complementary services that people offer? And who are the people in those categories that I could go and target? I remember reading Blue Ocean Strategy, which is a book by some people whose names I cannot pronounce or remember off the top of my head. I read this about 6 years ago, I think. It's really funny, actually. My son's dad gave it to me before we started dating as a like, oh, you should read this. Very romantic. I read that book, and in there it talked about when Cirque du Soleil came about and the fact that they were trying to, they were basically like the phoenix rising from the fire of the circus industry. Circuses were dying. And so what they did is they looked at what do people do in their spare time, because going to the cinema is a spare time, extracurricular activity. So what else do people do? Well, they go to the theatre. Okay, so the people that go to the theatre, how could we serve those people in a way with something that's kind of like circus, but not just circus? How can we tie in elements of what they're getting from the theatre? Because when you go to the theatre, it's a different experience. And so they looked kind of outside of their competition arena and looked to what other people were doing with their time. Where might other people be going to get their needs serviced? You might not, if you're not in a course creation or a service provider world, if you're in e-commerce or you've got some kind of shop, what are the other things that people are spending their money on? Okay, so who are the influencers? What are the companies that the influencers that those people might be spending their money with? This works for service providers and coaches as well. Just looking at, if you're a yoga studio, perhaps, it's not just who are the other yoga studio owners or who are the big yoga studio teachers, it's the clothing brands. But it's also not just the exercise clothing brands like Lululemon that everybody knows. It's what else are those people into? Okay, well, they probably eat really healthily. Do they go to Whole Foods? In the UK, do they shop in Waitrose? So it's about looking outside of your specific competition arena and thinking, where else might my people be? And this is why we did the ICA exercise, and why I asked you in that exercise, if you did it, so many questions about what else do they do, where do they shop, what do they read blogs, what newspapers do they read, and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully that gives you a good insight on how to start with the Dream 100 funding concept and the way that I apply this, and it works with beyond a shadow of a doubt. This is the easiest, fastest way to grow your audience, is to go and find the people who've already got your people in their audience, go and give some value, and then those people will naturally rabbit hole on you on Facebook, because it's what we all do. Like, how many times, even today, I bet you've like kind of almost thought to yourself, where on earth did the last 5 minutes go? Where did the last 10 minutes go? How am I looking at this person? Like, what rabbit hole have I gone down? And so what you want to do is you want to become the rabbit hole. And you do that by opening your entrance to your rabbit holes in as many groups and in as many ways as possible. So hopefully that's really useful to you. I'm just reading Susanna's comment of, is there a way to see popular posters in groups quickly? In some groups, yes, because you now have the algorithm comes into play in groups now. So they used to be able to do a tactic of commenting on a post and it would bump your post back to the top. Now there is not just the recent activity, but there's also top posts. And a lot of the times you're going to go into groups now, and what you're actually seeing are the top posts, which means the more prolific you are, the more your posts are going to get seen. It's that whole algorithm thing again. And so if you go into groups, just have a look. Who are the people posting most of the time? Who are the people who are, and I talked about this a bit yesterday, who are the people posting all the time? Who are the people that get comments on their posts all of the time? Make friends with people in groups, because that will then help you to, I want to say manipulate, but I mean it in the nicest way possible, but to play the algorithm in its own game. If you're friends with people, Facebook knows that people like to see content from friends. And so if you're friends with the key people in groups, then when you post in the group, your stuff's going to get seen even more. So yes. Great content again, says Craig. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching and, for actually embracing the challenge and taking action. That's all I can ask from you, is you to take action. I'm giving you my time every single evening, being here, giving you as much as I possibly can in the time that we've got together. But it is down to you to take action, actually to implement what I'm talking about, because knowledge without action is no knowledge at all. So go away. Go and do your Dream 100 list. If you are stuck, then post in the group. If you've done your Dream 100, when you've done it, it will be amazing if you came and posted in the group your Dream 100 list, because we might, and we probably will, think of other people for you. So we can help add to that list for you. And also you'll do a favor to other people, because you'll see their list and it might trigger some ideas in your head. So once you've done your Dream 100 list, pop it in the group and let's see if we can all hive mind together, mastermind together, and even expand on what you've done and help you. And obviously you'll then be helping everybody else too. So I shall see you guys all this time tomorrow, and have a great day, a great evening, wherever you are, and let me know if I can help you. And it's been really awesome having you. See you later.